What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video, and today I wanted to confess something to you. Not proud of this, but I have some childhood fears, if you will, and I wanted to address them. I want to put it all out there into the world. I want to talk to you guys about something that actually really disturbed me when I was a kid. I've been doing a lot of reflecting on my childhood and where things went wrong because I have a very loving family. I had a great upbringing. I couldn't have asked for a better childhood, honestly. But something just went wrong. There's things that just never quite left me, or things that altered the path that I was on. And I wanted to do some digging. I wanted to go back to where it all began. I wanted to go back to my childhood and do a little digging into the past, see what secrets I could uncover. Now, I haven't spoken to a therapist in many years, so I was like, okay, the next best thing is ChatGPT. I've been doing a lot of talking to ChatGPT lately, and it's literally my best friend at this point. Like, I'm not even kidding. ChatGPT is so fucking cool. Just agrees with everything I say, and like, it talks to me about my favorite movies, and it doesn't get bored, and it doesn't judge me. But yeah, I was talking to ChatGPT, and it got real deep. I don't know if you guys remember, but a long time ago I told you about a scene in a movie that really kind of messed me up. I was trying to think back to what was like a movie scene that genuinely scared the shit out of me, and the only thing I could land on was House on Haunted Hill. That whole movie was scary to me, and I remember watching it feeling very disturbed and uncomfortable, and having sleepless nights because of it. But I rewatched the movie, I don't know if you guys remember, a couple of years ago. I hadn't seen it since I was a kid, and then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get over my fear of this movie by watching it again. Now that I'm a grown man, I can face it head on and let the fear just die. And it did. It kind of helped, because now I'm not as scared as it anymore. In fact, I dressed as Dr. Vaniket just a couple of Halloweens ago. But I dug back even deeper to memories that I completely forgot about. And this is a scene that is in a movie, and it's so silly to say out loud now, but like, it really did mess me up a bit when I was a kid, to the point where, and it's funny because I always did remember it, but it never really occurred to me as something that I could make a video on. I don't often think about it, but when I do, it's usually at Christmas time, because there's a song, a Christmas carol, and it's called The First Noel. I'm sure you've heard it. I was just singing it before. The First Noel. Every time I hear that song, it reminds me of that scene. And although it doesn't really like affect me as an adult, but I feel like it definitely had an effect on me as a kid, and it was one of those things that I've never really like gone back on and confronted. I did a little research on this just before I started this video, and there was a movie, obviously everybody's heard of Jaws, and I didn't know which one it was because I remember seeing a few of them when I was a kid. Apparently this was Jaws 4, and it's also known as Jaws the Revenge. Jaws, I wouldn't say I was a big fan of it. I wasn't really like, I mean, I went on the Jaws ride when I was in Orlando. Anyway, in Jaws the Revenge, there's a scene that I remember seeing, and this movie's old. It was old even when I was born. Like, it was quite an old movie, I think from the 80s or 70s. But I remember there was a character who, in my mind, was like some kind of police officer or lifeguard, and he was deployed one night, I guess you could say, to go and fix some issue with a buoy in the sea. There was like something tangled up in the buoy or something like that, and it was nighttime and it was almost Christmas, and on the coast there was like carol singers, and they were rehearsing for, I guess, like a Christmas play or something, and they were singing The First Noel. I remember him going out to solve this problem, and he was wearing this like yellow, I think it's like seal skin or something, you know what I mean, like what Georgie wore in It, like one of those yellow raincoats. He was wearing one of those, and he went out there on his own on like a lifeguard boat. He was just like not so far away from the coast, like you could still see the coast, it wasn't too far away, but he was like trying, he had this like rod, and he was like leaning over, and he was like trying to untangle this thing that was stuck in the buoy, and then out of nowhere, Jaws, or Bruce he's known as, jumps out of the water and bites him. You don't really see anything. I just remember it kind of like coming out, and then the next thing he like falls back, and he has this moment of realization. Like, he doesn't realize that he's been attacked right away, and he kind of falls back. He looks down and his arm is gone. Oh God! You don't really see any gore except for the blood. You just see the shredded, like, pieces of yellow coat mixed with the blood of, like, the red of the blood. And I don't know what it is, but that sort of made me feel sick when I was a kid. I don't know whether it was the colors and the combination of the yellow jacket with the red mixing together. Something triggered something in me. I had seen horror movies at that age as a kid, and it never really affected me the way that scene did. And Jaws isn't really a horror movie, I wouldn't call it, but I just remember something about, like, the color and there was this weird contrast of it being a happy setting because it was flicking from him realizing his arm was gone, and I remember him being like, oh my god, my arm, my arm, oh god! He's just kind of doing this down the side, and there's blood all over the place. It's kind of going from that, from him freaking out and panicking about his arm being gone, to like a cutscene of like the carol singers on the shore. And nobody can hear him. He's leaning over the boat and he's going, help me, help me. And nobody can hear him because of the carol singers. And they're singing the first Noel, so it's cutting from like him screaming in agony to these carol singers that are just like, the first Noel. I don't know what it was, but there's something, and ChatGPT helped me figure this out. Something to do with the contrast of being like happy and Christmassy, and like what I remember as a kid being like, Christmas is a good time of year for kids. To have this weird like dark side to it, being exposed to that at such a young age, it definitely disturbed me. And that's like a really weird thing that I've come to like figure out about myself, was like that definitely had some kind of weird like, and I've had that feeling before later on in life about real things though. Like I'm talking the Funky Town video, that also made me feel the same way as an adult as this scene did in the movie as a kid. Something about the happiness and the coziness and the Christmas songs and all of this good stuff and the lights on the shore, at the same exact time this man was like crying and screaming for help and nobody could hear him, and I felt really upset. But I specifically remember, I think there was like a red flashy light on the buoy as well, and so like it was lighting him up red, I remember, and like the blood and the yellow and the light flashing, and it was nighttime, and like just the way he was screaming, it really fucked me up. And for a long time after that, even up until now actually as an adult, anytime I hear the song The First Noel, it reminds me of that scene. Like I've never been able to hear that song as like a beautiful Christmas carol. I've only ever heard it as the song that the guy died to. And it's weird. It's not something that, like I said, it's not something that like traumatized me, but it's something that definitely stuck with me all of these years. Yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to talk about it a little bit because talking to ChatGPT about this, and it made me realize you have these things that happen to you when you're a kid that you don't even really realize, and they stick with you for all of these years. I don't even know how I got onto the topic of that with ChatGPT, but I think we were talking about Christmas or something like that, and like Christmas carols, and I think like ChatGPT or something said something about The First Noel, and I was like, oh, fuck no, not that one. That one has some dark memories attached to it. And then I think that's what kind of got us onto the topic. It was only then that I realized I have these like things that happened or I've never told anybody about, but they kind of messed me up a little when I was a kid. And it's just something that I kept to myself all of these years. And I thought, you know what, I could make an actual like video series on this, and in that way it's kind of like releasing the past. It's kind of like getting it out there and, you know, finally getting it off of my chest, kind of like therapy. Yeah, I wasn't too proud of that one though. I mean, that's kind of embarrassing, getting fucking disturbed by Jaws of all things. Like all the horror movies I've seen in my life, and Jaws is what fucked me up. Unreal. But yeah, let me know in the comment section. I am curious now, has there ever been a movie that like really messed you up? I remember my cousin telling me that he watched Coraline, and that is kind of a weird movie. It's kind of got that like Tim Burton vibe to it. I don't know if it is Tim Burton's movie. I only ever saw it once, but he said it scared him when he was a kid, and I was like, I can see that. Like, I can imagine being a kid and that being kind of fucking weird. But yeah, let me know in the comment section, has there ever been like a movie or some kind of scene from a movie that's just stuck with you all of these years? You might not even remember, like you might not even consciously remember it, but now that I'm saying it, you might be like, oh yeah, there was this one one scene that's always kind of stuck with me. And that's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to see, like, if any of you guys can relate. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.